Hey guys, welcome to the channel, Sunny here, and today we got a new global lab. We just also had an urgent maintenance, so I'm gonna cover that first, and then we get into the global lab changes here, and there's some very important notes as well for the coming patches. But the maintenance we just had, the urgent maintenance of live servers, the first thing was they fixed the V bug, where if any player hit you, you instantly V'd. We already tested it, it is fixed. Then, because of there are some issues here, we identified that the problem occurring doing damage calculations based on APDP between characters while we're active working, so this will take some time. So they have disabled all the PvP game modes until next maintenance while they're fixing this bug. You guys probably seen or tried RBF, where just one-shot everything, everybody gets one-shot. DP didn't seem to work. So because of this, while fixing, all the PvP game modes are disabled. However, you can still do open world PvP because it doesn't seem to be affecting there. And as a compensation for people worrying about that, with the Nodewars, and this is the same for all of them, right? If you have done a Node War anytime between July 1st and then next week, you will get the compensation rewards, which includes the victory buff being applied and all of that. Same for Siege. You get the buffs, depending on the highest difficulty you've done. And War of the Roses, yeah, you're also going to get compensated if you've done it, including the 25 Thunderbolts for your horse if you're doing that. So, yeah, it is what it is. It sucks when these bugs are there. Unfortunately, a bit expected with these big system changes. It really sucks because, as you'll see here in the patch as well, this also means we don't get any Node Wars or Seeds testing done with all these big PvP changes PA are rolling out, which means less information and testing and data for PA to make hopefully some good changes. And they even mention Node Wars and Sieges for collecting data, and we're not going to get it for this week. So let's get into the global app, and this here should more or less all be out next maintenance, except the blue battlefield. So the blue battlefield is the Ocean Node War content. It is in today, however. Originally, we planned to launch this content global app, and we'll bring official servers on July 30. However, given the flurry of combat system patches we've rolled out since the overhaul, we are reconsidering that timeline to avoid overwhelming you with simultaneously changes. So it's basically paused until further notice. Delayed. The information about how it works is, yeah. You sign up, you do the Ocean Node Wars. It is the occupation stuff. So you just, like Occupation Node Wars, you fight over these forts, you kill a fort, you control it. It's going to be based around ocean content. You're going to be using your ships. The rewards are going to be 2 to 4 billion, depending on the difficulty. It's going to be 3 tiers, up to 5k crow coins, and the family buff, there's going to be a win and participation buff as well. This is a life skilling buff only, and it does not stack with the Node War buff. So this here is an option for PvE life skill guilds out there that maybe want to try and get this buff, the ocean guilds and all that. But it does not stack with the Node War buff, which I guess means that the Node War guilds aren't going to be stacking it. So it's up to 75 mastery, 40% EXP, and then 30% sailor EXP. It's going to be Sundays and Fridays, it seems. And at least on the Chaos server, it's going to be from 9 to 10. On Olidia 1, you can see all the details of participating here. This is the map. And depending on the number of guilds participating in the blue battlefield, a blue battlefield fortress will be created on one of the islands below. So those are the nodes you're going to be fighting over. And the random set among the end times between 20 minutes and 60 minutes. Here are the different tiers. And the battleships, the one you can use. And then also the system, the differences, right? They are nerfing the speed a bit. We knew that already. So all the details about how it's going to run. I'm not going to go in depth about how it's going to run because we just got to play it if you enjoy this kind of stuff. And it's also delayed. But it's coming, right? Also, 10 minutes before the start of the battlefield, Come Together will display. So you can TP to either Villia, Ilia, or Lima Island 10 minutes before to get your boat and sail out there. It's also going to be Occupation, where you kill it just like normal. You kill a fort, you control it, and if the time runs out, boom, you win it. Citadel end times arrives, right. There's some improvements here. Exclusive item. So if your strip is destroyed, you can move to location using this rescue map without having to move your character by swimming or other means. You get this at the NPC in Villia, Limia, or Ilia, right? Here are the places. You also have a bit further view distance. You can color your guild members and everything, so you better can see them. And the rewards. So depending on the tier, from 2 up to 4 billion silver in guild funds, the victory buff or participation buff for 48 hours. Victory is 75 mastery, 40 XP, 30. Participation is 50, 30, 20. And they do not stack, right? Family buffs, battlefield, and stronghold battles are not applied together. Then you have your personal rewards. Depending on winning and participation, winning stage 5 can be up to 5 billion silver. I think this is 5 billion silver. No, 500. Wait, is this 500 million? It might be 500 million. So half a bill and deep sea stone box and a loot chest. And then it just scales down depending on what you're doing. In the loot box, you can take these following items: 5k crow coins or condensed crystals, manas, etc. And these origin stones, I don't know what they are. I don't do ocean content, so bear with me if this is an item that already exists. But the Aquilian origin stone, this is a source stone that contains the mystery powder of the ocean god. It can return to the sea stone, which has already been giving power by containing the energy of the oceans to its original state, origin stone. By processing with the sea stone through simple alchemy, you can obtain a sea stone of the appropriate grade. Is this an alchemy stone? You can use to obtain sea stone by right-clicking as before to obtain one sea stone of a specific ability. Is this boat upgrade? I don't know. Maybe you guys know if you're into this stuff. You also have the stone box where you can obtain the following things on opening it. And also contribution rewards. The number 1 contributor gets 1,000 bonus crow coins. And then basically how you sign up, you need to, return condition is 10 or more boats, or owning the castle or a node in a timely manner. Just owning it once, doesn't have to win. It's to prevent people sniping left and right, so you actually have to participate. And then some changes here to it, like just transferring boats and all that. But yeah, we don't know when it's going to be coming out. They're adding a new ability for the Panoxian. Instant death rotation maneuver skill, and it's shift AD movement. Okay, now let's get into some of the class changes coming out here, and there are some important notes about it. I'll do a summary, of course, link in the description as always if you want to read all of this. So this week they're rolling out the previous announced system, and there's a lot of stuff going on, right? And they are keeping a close eye to all the grinding and the PvP and all that. So we apologize for anyone who's been affected by these sudden adjustments. This update isn't just a simple stat tweak, it's a complete rework of the combat system. So they're saying, listen, like there's going to be some misses, there's going to be some bugs, there's going to be some wrong numbers. They're paying attention and they're doing everything they can to update it weekly to reflect the goal of the system, which is the gradually progression through grind spots for newer players, and then obviously also for us going into Idania later on. So that's about it. Now for PvP changes, which we'll see some today. About PvP, with upcoming gear updates and changes to mouse movement and resistance, the PvP environment is still a bit unstable. So yeah, we'll be rolling out urgent balance patches first for the classes most affected by the recent combat changes. We're also preparing adjustments for certain classes like Awakening Sage who become too powerful. So today, I guess the TLDRs, they are preparing a big PvP adjustment patch that would address most, if not all, classes, right? But before that, they are making some smaller adjustments or urgent adjustments, as they say, to classes that are heavily affected by the big system changes or a bit overpowered, right? So today's patch, they are doing Zerker and Shai, and there's some big changes there. Zerker because it's affected a lot by the mouse movement, so of course they are buffing it. But yeah, big patch is coming eventually, maybe. We'll probably see next Friday. So before adjusting the overall PvP balance adjustment will be made based on the changes in mouse movement. Please note that the adjustments will be made to other classes following the inability to mouse move while using skills, starting with Giants. Okay, so what are they doing? They're changing Succession Lava Piercer. So movement distance no longer increases when you're in beast form. However, when using a skill and chaining it with evasion movement, shake it off, the cooldown of Lava Piercer has been changed to reset. So what does that mean? Well, it means you can Lava Piercer, dash, Lava Piercer, dash, as long as you have stamina. The dash will reset the cooldown. On top of that, for rock pushing, defense judgment changed from forward guard to super armor. This is another like jump in ability, if I'm not wrong. And they're making some changes here on the E-buff. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think it's just so that you can stay in the beast form without having like there's some bugs. I think with E-buff where you can fall off of it out of beast form afterwards. So it should be like separating the actual buff and then the beast mode of the E-buff. For Awakening, they're making some changes as well. With the Lava Piercer to Lama, right? Activates to maintain the gauntlet so you stay in Awakening when you're running, and also when you use an ability coming out of it, it will prioritize the awakened abilities so it doesn't accidentally switch you into pre-awakening. And here's a cool one. The Giant Leap, Awakening Jump, after landing you can activate it again as before with WF, or you can also use it in the air. So here are how that looks. So you can activate it in there again for a second jump, or you can use it when you land and then it jumps back. So they're also showing some case uses, and honestly they look really cool. So turning around, jumping, all like that in the air. And here's another one, which is like a pretty cool bait. Like actually turning in the air and going the other way without jumping fast. So there's going to be some cool shenanigans here. Trying to compensate for the desync mouse movement in the air stuff. But hopefully it's not going to desync as much on the enemy screen. So I think this is pretty cool. And the big stuff, Shai is getting huge changes today. No joke, it is. It looks like they're trying to turn Shai into an actual normal style class. So let's just look into it. First thing is the dash ride, 25% longer, and it's a PvE iframe on use. Yeah, iframe for PvE iframe on use, and it dashes further. This ability, HP recovery 300 for friends as well when you use it, so another heal. Projection speed is increased and maximum flight range is increased as well. Then they are adding super armor to the surf skill. It's now full super armor from start to finish. Of course you can still fall and die and all that, and they also adding super armor to this ability here. Super armor has been added. Next up is reducing bubble from 4 minutes to 2 minutes. They're adding a knockback effect on ping pong here. And they are giving minus 20%, 20 DP threat on this ability. However, the movement speed reduction is removed. And they're adding forward guard to this ability. I believe this is like the big boomerang hit, right? That's getting a forward guard. You also get an increased amount of time the character can rotate relative to the camera using the skills, so it should be way better in mouse, like turn control. And they're changing Echoes of Earth from a stun to a knockdown. I believe this is like a frontal cone attack. Sort of like a bongo. It's not the bongo, it's the bongo ability, but it's not the bongo attack. But it's now going to be a KD. And Wrath of the Sun, movement speed reduction has been removed, and the attack speed and casting speed reduction effects have been changed to increase by up to 25% depending on the strengthening levels. And then they are buffing damage pretty crazy. Now, quick note about the numbers here. Before you go all haywire, the PvP damage reduction rate is changed. It's flipped now. It used to be that this would read as a 80% damage reduction. Now this is the PvP damage rate, that's 80. So bigger is better. So it does go down, but the total damage does go up. It's a huge PvE buff on these abilities all the way through. Like look at this one here, Wrath of the Sun. This hits harder than a full charge Reckless Blow as well, right? But it also does more PvP damage, but it's not as insane as it looks. But it is pretty huge damage changes here as well on Shai. So I feel like this is just one step closer to giving it a normal weapon and making it a normal class, right? Maybe we start seeing some more AP Shais. This year could also be pretty crazy in capped Nodewars. So for example, this ability here, I was informed right, it's the Awakening Weapon, which you can't upgrade AP, it doesn't scale on the AP, so you have less AP in your Awakening. But for capped, that doesn't really matter, as long as you're over the AP caps, right? So this might actually just nuke in capped PvP. Kind of interesting. There's a change here with Hall of Fame, which doesn't seem to be any actual change. You can get the buff already, 10% like for 10 hours. That's what it is. I don't even know what the change is. And also, good news for the Shais. 10% durability reduction resistance has been added to the costume. So now you can get the full durability reduction for fishing and grinding. For the monster changes, they are the balance of one of the mobs in Pit of the Undying. It has been adjusted, added message when starting and ending special attack. Duration of special attack has been increased, and the number of times CCs are applied to remove strength effects have been reduced. Also, the issue of, this is big, the issue of the health of monsters in Hex Sanctuary was being applied at a low level has been fixed. Accordingly, the HP of Hex have been increased by 100%. This is on Global Lab, which means this will not be in until next maintenance, which means we have around 5 days left, I think it is, of grinding Hex, and it's completely broken right now. Completely broken right now. Seems to be the legit best grind spot in the game at the moment, so get your week's grind in and enjoy, I guess. Also, great opportunity to put on full PvP gear, go on Asha, and get PvP now that all the PvP game modes are disabled. There we go, right? There we go. Hex event and open world PvP event. What more could you ask for? Right, some quest stuff here, and the main theme background has been renewed. Whatever. Occupation walls, Flame Tower. The damage was affected by the character's damage reduction has been fixed. And for UI improvements, this here will be out on August 6th. It is ready, they say, but they want to make sure to proper test it. So this is going to be delayed one more week. It's the UI change whenever bosses appear and things like that. And also enhancing and everything to make them not like spam you in the face. Make them a bit better, right? They're changing how they show the 100,000 and 1 million when you're searching on my Control F. And that's about it. Awkward stuff, moving quest window, correction and typos, so nothing really here that affects anything, but that's today's patch. Next Friday should be the pre-Edania patch, so it will be very interesting to see what's going to be in it. I will of course be streaming, we'll be covering it. It should be in, and also they did promise us more PvP changes, more class changes. Global Lab, enhancing UI should be August 6th as well. So there you go, guys. This one here was a bit interesting one. At least it did confirm that we will see more class changes and all that coming forward. So that's good. It's gonna be a mess for the next couple of weeks, maybe the next couple of months. So just make the best of it, and I'll see you all in the next one.